putting a lot of time and effort into wholesale right now doesn't seem too logical to me.
Right.
However, building a bigger and badder Grafletics PDX retail location does.
With revenues down nearly 50%, our guest today is actually still looking to invest and expand his business. Hi, I'm Joshua Carlsen. In today's Ask an Expert segment, I'm going to be sitting down with Rick Gilbert. He's the founder of a lifestyle apparel company called Grafletics, which is a combination of brick and mortar and e-commerce platform. He's going to be talking about how he cleverly pivoted to not only help his business, but to help other local businesses as well. Now let's get started.
Rick, thank you for coming on our Ask an Expert segment. I really appreciate your time today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So you run a lifestyle apparel brand that's deeply rooted in Portland and Oregon. And I'm curious about some of the apparel and the designs that you guys come up with. Is it kind of like if you build it, they will come? Or is there a methodology behind, putting out new pieces and new product?
Well, early on, it was if you build it, they will come.
Okay.
But we're about 6 years in now, and I think we've developed a way to almost curate collections
Okay.
based on the things people around here are interested in. So if basketball is your thing, we have a basketball collection
Sure.
centered around not just the Trailblazers, but the cultural relevance of it in Portland.
Okay.
There's a lot that happens with the sport of basketball here. And we try and cover all those bases. We do the same with soccer, the same with the outdoors. We have a Central Oregon and Bend collection. And we also do cannabis. So the idea is if you're from Oregon or from Portland and you have an interest, we're the spot for that.
Okay. And as far as the designs that you come up with, I know you've got a design background. Are you sourcing ideas from, just kind of what you're seeing in the environment, or is there a different way that designs just come about?
Well, sometimes there's a relevance to a design, like the Lillard McCollum 20, which
Yep.
is a take on a political campaign.
Sure.
It's an election year, so that's intentional. But with a lot of the other stuff, it's just things that I'm thinking about and want to make.
Okay.
And really, that's the process. We always kick out a new release when something like basketball starts or soccer starts. So those are always good benchmarks to hit along the year so that our people can expect new things.
Okay.
But outside of that, we'll do a Pride Month item. We try and stay relevant and with the times.
Okay. Well, fingers crossed that basketball actually happens.
I know.
I know it's scheduled, but I think it's probably a TBD at this point. As a business that has brick and mortar and e-commerce, I'm curious how things have been for your business as we've gone through kind of this roller coaster this past few months.
We're keeping the boat afloat. That's what I keep telling people.
Okay.
However, revenues are about cut in half.
Okay.
We do quite a bit of wholesale, and our wholesale channels went from operating at full capacity down to zero.
Right.
So we've really had to rely on the Grafletics community and what I call the G team, which is our newsletter,
Okay.
of folks who subscribe to our stuff. And between it all, we've been able to make it work. But it's taken some innovation.
And so I know you guys have had the e-commerce side for quite a while. Are there any recommendations to, brick and mortar businesses that are looking to get into the e-commerce space that maybe you've kind of learned along the way?
Yeah, just to be able to track your KPIs,
Okay.
key performance indicators, and also your ad spends. I think the internet is a super easy place to waste money,
Yeah.
and it can happen fast.
Right.
Thinking you're doing the right thing for your business. For us, something that has worked tremendously well is SEO.
Okay.
just being methodical in our approach and building over time. We're often the top now for our search categories, which is pretty amazing considering we don't have Portland or Oregon in our name.
Right.
So it just goes to show you. And it's something that personally I've enjoyed learning about.
And is that something that you guys do entirely in-house, or do you guys outsource?
We do it in-house.
Okay. All right. Any tips? I know from an SEO standpoint, content is kind of a burden, but, over time, if you're consistent with it, it does start to generate results. Is consistency just kind of key, or are there any other insights for businesses looking at that?
Yeah, I think consistency is a huge part of it.
Okay.
Having a blog, aka journal, is certainly helpful. Meta tagging your images based on the keywords you're trying to get ranked for,
Yeah.
I think are huge. And then writing your product descriptions in a way that aren't stuffing keywords, but mention them tactfully,
Sure.
I think is important too.
Okay. And what about social media? You guys are pretty big. I know I follow you guys on Instagram. How has social media been a vehicle for your business, from, an influencer, from a just interaction, as well as, sales?
You know, I'd love to be the expert here and be able to tell you exactly, but I don't really know.
Okay.
Social media is tricky in that because we are local and our following for the most part is local. A lot of folks come in from channels like Instagram, and we just haven't figured out precisely how to track it. I
Okay.
mean, I could look on the back end and obviously see where the traffic coming from Instagram, which is our largest channel, our largest following, fourfold over Facebook, and
Okay.
then Twitter lastly. But I don't know exactly. I just know that instinctively it's something that it's important to do
Hmm.
daily, and for us that means posting 5 times a week.
Okay. Well, consistency again parlays into this channel as well. What are you seeing as things are actually starting to open back up? I know personally, I've been following the numbers pretty closely as it relates to COVID testing, as well as new people that have it, and obviously it spiked when things have gone up. It seems to have tapered off as of late. But what are you guys seeing now that I believe your retail location, the door is back open?
Yeah, I think people are hungry to get out and shop and do stuff and get back to a version of normal.
And are you
So
are you seeing that in the store?
we are,
Okay, good.
yeah. We're having some killer days. I
Okay.
think Friday was the first day we were able to open last week,
Yep.
and we had a big day. The weekend was pretty good. So roughly, we're not even a weekend yet, but I'd say it's positive.
Okay. Well, it's good to see. Fingers crossed that we're able to keep the doors open. Um,
Yeah.
so I guess the next question is, what are you thinking long term about business? Are you looking? Pivot is like the big buzzword right now. Is businesses? How do we pivot? How do we pivot? Are you looking at any pivots, or are you kind of let's just ride it out till things get back to normal, and then proceed to grow from there?
For us, I think it, it it's it's kind of like a pivot, but more of we've already done our pivots. Not to say there isn't more down the road, but for us, just leaning into the revenue channels that make sense for us. So uh, putting a lot of time and effort into wholesale right now doesn't seem too logical to me.
Right.
However, building a bigger and badder Grafletics PDX retail location does.
Okay.
So that's something I'm thinking about, is possibly relocating our store, getting more square footage, um, consolidating our operation, and yeah, things along those lines.
Okay. Well, I'd be interested to hear how that goes out. So you guys obviously put a lot of time and attention into your actual floor space. How much of that is, something that you've acquired over the years, and like how often are you reformatting that floor space to cater better to the needs of the customers?
Well, we just did a remodel, and we've been in our space for 3 years. I would say once every once a year for sure. We're switching something up.
Okay.
We're learning something new, figuring out a better flow pattern. Um, or if we're adding a collection like youth, for instance, we have a collection of youth tees now,
Okay.
so we have to create floor space for that. But yeah, about once a year, we seem to kind of switch it up and do something.
Okay. And you guys did something unique. I know when shelter in place really took effect, one of the biggest things that was being pushed specifically for retail locations was, hey, let's offer gift cards. But you guys did a twist on it, which I thought was pretty creative, which was Give Graph. And instead of buying a gift card for me to use in the future, it was intended for me to buy a gift for a friend, and you guys would go out and deliver if it was in the Portland metro area. How was that program? Where did it come about? And how was it for you guys?
The program came about from a conversation with a friend,
Okay.
and we were kind of kicking around some ideas, and it ultimately led to Give Graph. And the reason why is because a lot of people use us for gift buying.
Okay.
It's just t-shirts are an easy thing. So are hats to buy someone else. Our price point is, I think, super reasonable for what you get.
Sure.
So, you know, we're almost creating like no-brainer situations for people to go out and buy gifts. And given the current pandemic, I think it's safe to say everybody could use an uplift. So,
Totally.
buying a gift for somebody is a great way to do that.
Yeah.
Just to let someone know, hey, I'm thinking about you. I hope you're doing well. I can't see you right now, but I love you. Hang in there. So that's been a real fun thing to do. And personally, I've gone around and I've delivered the packages, and it got so popular that I wasn't able to do that anymore. So now we just ship
Okay.
free.
Okay. Well,
Um,
kudos to you. I'm
yeah,
assuming that's your sidekick on the side. You got a dog, don't you?
I do. Yeah. You
Okay.
want to see him?
Yeah, I'd love to see him.
And he always seems to bother me, like when I do interviews and stuff like that. It's
There he
kind
is. That's awesome. He's
of, yeah, no,
he's a regular at the store, if I'm not mistaken.
he is. He's currently like the shop dog in training.
Okay.
He's terrible.
So it might be a long-term training plan.
Definitely, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another thing that I thought that you guys did that was really creative was you guys actually created a line around local businesses. Can you tell me a little bit about that? I know the first one was Kay's. It's a local bar and restaurant. It's close to you guys, but where did that concept come from, and how did that work for you guys?
So that was just taking, pretty much modifying a wholesale arrangement.
Okay.
Was the take on that. And what I noticed is almost immediately a lot of bar and restaurant owners were trying to sell their merch
Right.
and creating websites from scratch and pivoting to be able to offer products on e-commerce because they're not able to operate at
Yeah.
normal and full capacity. So I thought to myself, well, damn, we're kind of built for this. As
Yeah.
I mentioned, we're as good as it gets when it comes to SEO for the keywords.
Sure.
So we kind of have a Ferrari of a website, and I thought that we could use that to not only showcase awesome local businesses to our people, which is social media and newsletter, but
Mhm.
also to folks just online looking for something cool, something a little bit different. So it was a way for us to plug in and further work with the community. And it's called the Grafletics Community Plus program,
Okay.
is what that is. And it's been going awesome, man. I think we're on today I'll launch our 5th product.
Okay.
And then we have 2 more in the pipeline as well.
Okay. I figured
And
it was
that's all
going good
from,
because I tried to get a hat and it was gone by the time I went on. So I figured it was working well for you guys.
yeah, and we sold out uh, both colorways pretty quickly.
Right. Okay. Is there any other advice you could give to businesses that are struggling right now that you think might be helpful?
Yeah. Um, don't be afraid to make changes.
Okay.
Um, this is new territory for all of us, and personally, I think flexibility is key. I do think that there's opportunity out there, and personally, I just been putting my money where my mouth is.
Okay.
So if if you do see an opportunity in your business and you have the means to achieve it, go for it. Like for us, like I don't hear a lot of people talking about expanding their retail footprint right now, but um, for us, it seems to make sense. I can't tell you if it's going to work out or not.
Commercial
I've been
spaces
before,
presumably are going to be a lot more affordable.
yeah, but it's just don't let fear take over. Just be methodical in your approach. Let the numbers lead the way, and and try and keep it positive, because I think just mindset's a huge thing right now for a lot of folks.
Yeah, I echo that sentiment. I had a guest on earlier, and it was all about mindset, for her as a leader as well as just for her team, because wherever the mind is, the body kind of follows, which is the activity that you're going to bring to the table. One last thing, as a business, as an entrepreneur, you've been through a lot, right? So it started in a garage. You have a true brick and mortar, beautiful space. Now you're talking about expanding. What would you give advice, or what advice would you give to yourself as you were just starting out back in the day? Is there anything you've learned that, gosh, if I had realized that, or if I had that wisdom, that might have helped me?
Well, looking back, I mean, it's always um, hindsight's always 2020, isn't that what they say?
Yep.
Um, I think having a mission statement
Okay.
is an important thing, and a business plan. It doesn't have to be down to the most minute detail, but
Mhm.
just kind of an overview of what you want to achieve. I think is a really helpful guide. I didn't do that. I
Yeah.
just I would go one design after the next, and we kind of like just stacked a collection together, and then 3 years in, I kind of stepped back and I was like, whoa, we have a business here.
Right.
Just kind of taking it as it comes. So it just enables you, I think, to be a better planner. It starts to plant seeds that can grow and to get your mind thinking in a more strategic way.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you coming on. Look forward to I guess next year, where we might be seeing you in a new location, and definitely look forward to some additional designs. I snagged the 77 year I was
I
born,
see, man. Looks good on you.
and year of the championship for the Blazers. So
Yes,
who
sir.
knows? Maybe they'll have a run this year, and we'll have a 20 T-shirt that will have to be made.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
I'd be phenomenal.
Anything's possible.
Anything is possible. All right. Well, thank you very much, and we'll look forward to checking back in with you soon.
All right. Thanks for having me.